Hey everybody, this is the video I've been alluding to for a little while now to do with sort of some realisations I made and also the future of this channel and where I want to go with it. I did make this video once before now and it was like 45 minutes, which is way too long. So what I've done is I've written out, it's basically in three parts: the past, the problem and the future, and I'm going to go through this as efficiently as I can to explain where I've come from and what I want to do this year and why I'm doing what I've done. I want to explain the changes. Reno is with me.
Hello.
For moral support. There's a lot of people who joined my channel in the last, year, maybe 2 years, who won't know the history of this channel. So I'm going to start with the past, and I've just got a few bullet points to explain how I got here. So 9 or 10 years ago, depending on when you class I started, there was 2 videos made 10 years ago this September, which were bike related but not on the bike, although I had some intentions of vlogging at the time. And then the next 2 videos, well, when everything else started, was 9 years ago this September. So whether I started 9 or 10 years ago is kind of dependent on what you think. I've asked on Twitter and 69% said that it was 2010, which means I've been doing YouTube 10 years this September. On the 5th of March 2016, up until that point, I was a chef doing full-time work and doing YouTube at the same time, hating my life. I had no progression in that company. It wasn't good for me. Just long story short, wasn't good for me. And I ended up quitting with the idea of getting a new job to do something different and also to do YouTube more seriously because things were, going really well at the time. So that was, as I say, March 2016. In April 2016, I started working with Loomies, running their social media, and that was going great until the company had problems. It went under and came back, and it's now better than ever. I visited it the other day, and it's so good to see the place back to where it should be, really. It's much nicer in there. But I basically left that in March 2017, so it was a year later. And then at that point, I spent a little while trying to find work, trying to find something that would be interesting and good, and I was just having problems finding anything in the area that I live in, and I don't really have the option to move. I won't go into details as to why I don't have the options to move. I know people always say, well, you should just believe me that I'm a real person and I have reasons I can and can't do things. There is a job waiting for me in another part of this country, but I cannot do that. So I was looking for work for a while, couldn't find any, and an old ambition of mine was to make metal art, and I decided I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to make the clocks that I make out of sprockets and stuff, and I'm going to see where this goes. And that was the Spicy110 Metalworks, which started in August of 2017. And it's been great. I've really enjoyed making things. I've learned so much during that time. Like, I've taught myself welding, I've taught myself MIG welding, TIG welding and arc welding to a point. I've learned so much stuff from doing that. It's been a huge benefit to me in both, being able to work metal and make things that I need, like bracketry for bikes and stuff, but also just for doing general things. And I've been doing that up until the end of last year, where I put it on the back burner because I needed to take some time away from it. So I was doing that from August 2017. In May 2018 is when I started having problems with my back. I had as it turns out, because it took from May until October to actually find out what was wrong with me. It was basically a herniated, stroke ruptured, stroke slipped, stroke messed up disc in my back, which was pressing on a nerve, which caused me sciatica, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, 7 months to recover. Didn't get any treatment from the NHS. They just basically left it till it recovered, which obviously, as a self-employed person at that point, was really difficult when what I needed to do was ride bikes and make clocks. Both of those are difficult to do with a bad back, but I struggled through. I'm still here. My back slowly improved through natural stabilisation, as it were, and it's still a problem to this day, but I know how to control it. So I can continue to do the work like that without too many problems, although I have to be a little bit careful. But obviously I really didn't make much in 2018. I took a massive hit, and I think it was towards the end of 2018, 2019 is when I picked up the boatworks and mechanical servicing type work I was doing. One of my subscribers actually has a company and was like, do you want to come and help me for a bit with this? And I did a bit of that work, but there wasn't too much. It was just a little bit over Christmas. So as I say, 2018 was a pretty tough year to get through. And I realised by looking at sort of how much I'd been earning, how much savings, I say savings, small amount of money in my account I had. I worked out what was coming in, what was going out, where I could reduce, I did reduce. That's why I've been doing economy cuts for years now. I've just had my hair cut, and the last one before that, as it turns out, was 6 months before. The stylist was not happy. Stylist stroke landscaper. So that's why on the 5th of February 2019, I started my Patreon. And I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I think I didn't do it because of all, people don't like YouTubers earning money doing it for some reason. And I put all my time and effort into this, and people literally want me to starve, it would seem. And I listened to those people, and I don't know why I did, because as soon as I opened my Patreon up, people came along, and it really, really helped. It didn't solve the issue. I still had to do more boat work, I still had to do metalworks and stuff, but it really helped me give more time to do the videos. And I absolutely would not be here were it not for it's currently 238 people who are current members, but there's been an extra 50 or 60 people along the way who've been a support for a few months or a couple of months. Some that joined for a month and left before they had to pay. But most of you have been there and you've helped support me, and that has made the biggest difference. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped me with Patreon in the last year. Also the people that helped me through PayPal because they don't like Patreon. Also the people who bought stuff through the Metalworks. Also people who sent me stuff for the Metalworks. And also, of course, the people who watch my videos and like them. Without all of you, none of this would be possible. So as Christmas came up last year, I decided for the first time, and I think it's 4 or 5 years, to take some days away from YouTube. And that means no work on it, because I call a day off when I just do a couple of hours work. Today is Sunday. I don't feel like I'm doing work today, but I probably will still spend 4 or 5 hours doing YouTube stuff. So actually taking a week off solid, away from social media, away from everything, was really beneficial to me, because I was able to take a much wider look at things, look at the future, stop looking at the small problems, look at the big problems, and look for ways forward. And I realised at that time something that it really got my anxiety going and stuff, because I'm like, oh my God, I've just realised I've put myself into a situation where this isn't going to work, and I'll explain why. And also part of the reason why this has been sort of highlighted now is because, as you may know if you watch my channel, my mum was really ill last year. We were a little bit worried about her. She's now absolutely fine. She's going strong. And then my nan died just before Christmas. And of course, these things kind of make you start thinking, ticking hands of time. I need to look after us, me and Reno, in the future. I have a responsibility to us to do my bit. But at the same time, well, obviously a lot of people to that will say, well, just go and get a proper job. And it's like, well, yeah, but I absolutely love doing this. This is the only thing that really fulfills me. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. I feel like this is my best chance in life. And if I gave up on it after 10 years work, where would I be? Well, I say I'm 50, I'm in a job and I'm sat in my house and everything's fine and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but what if I didn't spend my life doing this? What if I did the thing I wanted to do? Where might I have been? If you don't, it would be so spiritless, hopeless, yellow-bellied to give up now and to not keep pursuing what I think is the thing I'm best at. Whether lots of you don't think I am, doesn't matter, because okay, the people who aren't happy are always very vocal, but there is 7 billion people on this planet. I don't have to find that many people who like my content enough to support me by $1 a month to be able to do this for the short-term future. No, I don't see YouTube as a long-term future. I see it as a stepping stone towards doing something else. I don't have a plan to stop doing YouTube, but I'm not saying that I think I'm going to live forever doing just YouTube. Okay, so look, that's the past, okay? You understand where I've come from. It's not been easy, but I'm still here and I'm still making videos the way I want to make them, and I'm not being a slave to the algorithm, and I'm not like, doing wheelies and stuff to try and get views. I'm being honest and creating good, useful, helpful content. Like the How to Help a Rider series, hundreds of people are on bikes now because I've helped them get through it. I'm not saying they wouldn't have done it without me, but it was a help. So anyway, let's get to the problem, the middle bit. The Metalworks is not scalable. I can't make clocks any faster than I currently make them, and I can't sell them for any more than I do. They take as long as they take, and I think there is a limit to the amount that I can sell them for. That you've got to find that balance between enough to cover the costs and make money, but equally not too much that no one buys them. So I had to try and walk that line in the middle, and I had people saying I was overcharging. When you break down the costs, including the postage and everything, the electricity and all that, plus my time, it's less than minimum wage. Which is fine when I was doing YouTube as well, but to do that, my day was basically consisting of getting up in the morning, doing metalworks for a few hours from about 8 in the morning. Then I'd go out and do a quick ride, make a video, normally ended up at Tesco's because all the time I had was to go and get food, and that was my riding freedom time. Come home, do the metalworks for more, spend a few hours with Reno when she came home from work, then around 10 o'clock in the evening I'd start editing, and then between 3 and 5 in the morning I'd finish editing, go to sleep, get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, repeat. And it is a very fun way to live, but after a year of doing that, I nearly killed myself. I'm like, I just couldn't keep up that, and it made things suffer. Obviously, I can't make the best content if I can't be a servant to two masters. So I'm getting slightly off the line here. The reason the Metalworks is a problem, simply, is this: there is only so much money I can make out of it. And in the future, for me and Reno to have our own place, because we currently live in a shared house, we pay about as much as a small flat, but we have the benefits of a large house, the access to a larger house, and I have a garage access, and it's all very good as it is now, and we'll probably have this for a few more years, but we won't forever. So I have the time now to take risks, because this is the thing, it's not difficult for me to replace the income from YouTube. I just get a normal job, a normal minimum wage job, and I will be doing half the hours and earn more money. So it's really not about the money. This is about my passion for doing this. And I hope that the fact that I've been doing this 10 years and I've not given up, and even in the face of all the problems that I've had, I hope people recognise that. When we go to get our own place, we would be quite happy with, a little bungalow or even a flat with a tiny little garage that we can just wedge the bikes in. All my tools compressed down to 3 toolboxes and a couple of small machines. The reason I've always done that and not bought big machines is because I thought about the future and thought I don't want to not be able to take these with me wherever I go. All my tools could sit in the corner of a room and I would not lose them. I don't want to lose them, I need my tools. And the cost of having a property with a garage big enough to do that, the extra cost between what we need and what I would need then, is about as much as it would cost, as much as I could possibly earn doing the clocks, maybe a bit more. And thus I'd end up working 18 hours a day to have the space to do the work, and that doesn't work out. It's not going to improve my YouTube, it's not going to improve my future, it's going to just be a burden of, well, if I live past 45, I'll be lucky on that sort of a line. There's also all the opportunities I turned down. Like, I didn't do a meet for a start because I didn't have the time to organise that. I also had companies coming to me and saying, hey, do you want to do this with us? It would be really cool. And I'm like, well, am I going to get any sponsorship to do this? And they're like, no, we just thought we'd offer you the opportunity. And that's like, well, that's great. That'd be great for my channel. That would be great for making content. But in doing that, I'm not working and I lose money. At the end of the day, I can't turn around to the bank and say, oh, well, I made a good video. I needed to make the money. So serving those two masters next to each other, I can never do YouTube as well as I possibly can. I think it suffered for it last year. And I can't put everything into the Metalworks either. Right? There's a quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger, actually, which is he was saying you can't fully work on plan A if you're also working on plan B. Well, obviously it's smart to make smart decisions and have a plan B, but as I say, my plan B is minimum wage job when I need to do it, if I had to do it. But I think it would be wasteful to try and give up on this at this point, while I still can. I'm lucky that I can make this life and try and do this. Also, in something very creative like the Metalworks, when you're doubting what you're doing, or when you're tired, or when you don't have time to think, it really hinders your creative process, and that's the same for YouTube backwards and forwards. And this brings me on to why I closed the PO box. It's not because I'm stopping the Metalworks, because I still want to do the Metalworks, but there was 3 reasons why I got the PO box in the beginning. Number 1 was to get parts, to make people sending me parts to make clocks and stuff. A huge thank you to you, because without all of you, I would not have been able to do it. No sprockets and discs, no clocks to make. And also I want to say thank you to everyone that sent me tools and people that sent me stuff to help me do it. It's so kind of you. And even the people that sent me hot stuff, but at least I can say now I'm never going to have to eat some stupidly spicy thing that someone sent me out of guilt. Also, I needed it for a returns address. Obviously, if I'm selling items, I need to be able to get the items back to me if they get lost in the post. And the third reason was to do commissions, so people could send me their bits to do commissions. Well, now I can save that £360 a year, because that's how much the PO box cost. Also, it was crap. I mean, all the problems I've said about parcels not turning out because people try to send them through Parcel Force and not Royal Mail, but it's such a pain in the butt. And Royal Mail is so terrible to deal with, because they wouldn't even admit there was a problem until I said to them, look, you say there isn't a problem, but this keeps happening. Well, it's actually the post office I was talking to them, because it was their staff that was mis-selling stuff, and they're like, this isn't a problem that exists. I'm like, so why has it happened like 14 times? And they just went, all right, there may be a problem. We maybe need to send that memo out then. For the future with the Metalworks, for those 3 things, parts, I have a ton of parts because people have sent those to me, so I have a really good stock of stuff that if I'm making less clocks will last me a long time. I've got local contacts now that can supply me bits and pieces as I need them, and if I don't need as many, they're easier to come by, so it's not such a big task. So that's, the supply problem is solved. The returns address is solved because the only thing I really need to put returns addresses on is clocks. And I actually have a alternative returns address. I've never had a clock returned through being lost in the post. In fact, I've never had a clock returned at all, other than to be repaired. And the third thing is commissions. And I've only done like 6 or 7 commissions. So if I don't need the first 2 things and I keep it just for commissions, I've got to earn a lot more money than 360 quid out of it. And if I've only made 8 clocks, it's doing work to have the thing to do the work. It doesn't work out. So as I say, I'm currently in a position that I can take risks, but I don't think it's so much of a risk because I know how much people like the bike content that I make. The reviews, the riding other bikes, just the first rides, the random rides on it, you know, sharing my life riding bikes. And also, people like me riding bikes more, but unfortunately part of that costs fuel and I'm not here earning money. It's doing YouTube and that's not paying the bills. So to do that needs an income. So at the beginning of the year, I realised where I needed to go, and I was like, right, there's no point in me telling the people what I'm going to do. I need to show them that I can step things up. And I think that you will have found, I hope, that other than the storms that have got in the way and I've had to make, you know, those random videos in between to fill a gap, even though I love making them still, I've tried to make the best content I can, the most watchable content I can. I've been doing that since the beginning of the year, and I hope that you've noticed that. I know it's working. I've seen my figures jump up. I've seen the subscribers jumping up. It's the minutes watched, the total view, everything has been going up. I've just had a meeting with, all I'm going to say is a Triumph place, and I have more bikes to work with this year than you can possibly imagine from Triumph, and it's under fantastic terms. Like, I can get the bikes for a single day, I can get them for a week, I can do whatever I want with them pretty much. They've even said I can take them green laning, though it is on my head if I drop it. So that's a bit of a risk. It's not quite the same to drop a Lex Moto as it is to drop a Tiger 900 straight out of the showroom. Basically, I've had lots and lots of offers coming at me, and I've realised I have enough content this year to do the old stuff I used to do. See, part of the reason why I stopped doing the bike reviews so much is the next logical step, or the next natural step, seemed to be going on the commercial, you know, the press launch days. I've never been interested in that. I don't even like doing test rides with the company in like a test ride day, because you have them in front and back of the pack. They're controlling how fast you can go. They tell you what road you can go on. I even got told off by Suzuki for weaving side to side because I was trying to get a feel for the bike, and me and Ren have got in trouble for it because they were like, stop weaving around the road. Like, how are we supposed to assess these bikes if we don't see how they feel? And they didn't, and it's just, that's complete rubbish, and I don't want to be put into that situation. I don't want to go do those things. I like going to a dealer, taking a bike out on my own terms. I can be completely honest. I can go on the roads I want. I can take as long as I want. And that's one thing I will say. All of the work I do, all the reviews I do, everything is done completely honestly. I have an agreement with every single one of them, which is, if I'm doing this for you, I can be completely honest. I'm fair. I'm not someone who's going to make it a molehill into a mountain. I understand that my opinion is not everyone else's opinion, and just because I don't like a certain part, or don't like a style of bike, doesn't mean that someone else isn't. And as you've seen last year, I started riding cruisers and I actually really enjoyed it. Would I own one? No, but I did really enjoy it. Now also, the boat work I was doing last year kind of died away and it didn't really pick up. And in a couple of weeks ago, I was contacted by all these companies, and I'm like, yep, this all sounds great. And I'm like, okay, so this year what I'm doing is I'm going full force forward into YouTube. I'm going to put my all into YouTube. Got everything arranged, and then 2 days ago I get a message from the guy that does the boat work saying, hey, do you want to help me out again? And I'm like, and he needed me in the near future, like, you know, this week, next week. And I'm like, I actually can't do that. I'm already committed to all these companies, and if I turn around to these companies and say, no, I can't do this, I'm just gonna shoot myself in the foot when it comes to opportunities. This is the beginning of building things up. And if in the first instance of all these people that are new have come to me and asked me to do my thing, you know, asked me to work with them, if I then turn around and say, oh, I can't this week or next week because I've got to do this boat work, it's not going to work out for me. They're going to go to the next person, and I can't do that, which is why I've said no to the boat work. It was never going to be, it was not going to be huge. It was only ever going to be a helping side, I think. Things haven't progressed as fast for them as they wanted them to, and I really hope they do. And if I can find time, you know, the odd day here and there to go and help him and earn a bit of extra cash, I'll do it, because I actually really enjoy doing the work, and I like chatting with the guy, and he's nice, and it's fun to do something different from time to time. But I can't give up stuff from YouTube to do the boat work. There will still be normal vlogs mixed amongst all the bike stuff, because I don't want to be one of those motovlogging channels that completely moves away from motovlogging. Motovlogging was good, is good. It's not as popular as it used to be, but it has a reason to be there. It's not as popular with all of my viewers, I know, but I don't also want to be shoved into a box where my viewers tell me what I can and can't make. But equally, I realise because 60% of my viewers aren't subscribers. All videos, 60% of the people watching them aren't even subscribers. So making this video feels weird, because I know that most of the people who are watching this don't know me and don't know anything about me, and are very happy to say something very negative about me and then carry on their day and never have another thing to do with me, opposed to the people who do watch this and do care about the channel and do want to help, and they're basically my patrons. I mean, most of the people that joined my Patreon don't even use it. They don't watch videos early, they don't use it to message me or comment, they literally do it just to support me, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Sure, some people don't get Patreon, they don't like it, but just accept that if a channel, if me, you know, a small creator, a one-man band, can do this much with a small amount of support, if you try to be okay with that, if you're okay with the giant channels that are making, you know, a lot of money, also using Patreon to help bring in money to do better content, because it kind of builds and builds. And that's one of the reasons why I think this is actually obtainable and doable, because neither me or Reno are wanton people. We don't want a giant property.
No.
We don't want all the latest fancy gadgets.
No. We're quite happy with simple things. We just want a nice, easy life.
But if I can do that for us and still do something I love, I think I should do that. I shouldn't be so foolish as to give up on something like that. And as I say, Reno is here for moral support, but she is also fully behind me and has always been behind me. Because I know there's a lot of people that, you know, try and, well, there's been comments along the lines of, oh, Reno's too good for you.
Or, oh, he's really, what is it, punching above his belt, or...
Punching above his belt, above his weight.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Those kind of expressions where it's like, oh, it kind of... I assume comes from a jealousy thing, and they don't think that you're good enough for me or that I should be with you. But that's just, I never understand it.
All I can say is that Reno is fully behind me.
Yes.
And we're very, very happy together.
Yeah.
We have made our future plans. We've talked about this. So don't worry about like that side of it. This is our lives. And I know that it's not that unobtainable, because I'm not looking to, you know, have a giant house, have the latest 20 grand bike. I literally, I can tell you now, because people ask me to put a figure on it, if I increase my patrons now from 238 to 700 maybe, at $1 a month, I would probably be fine. Maybe. It might need to go a bit more for the future, but for now that would be fine. It would give me the extra money to do the fuel, all the fuel it's going to cost and all that sort of stuff. Also, I want to grow my channel, because when you get a bigger channel, then you can get more channel sponsorship in and stuff like that. And as I say, I will be using some channel sponsorship this year if I can get it in places, but know that I'm always honest. My opinion is never bought. It is always on that grounds. And if I'm ever doing anything like that, you know, because not only do I want to be honest, because it's the easiest way of doing it, it's just to tell you the whole scenario of how I got something, but legally I have to tell you because of the ASA rules. Now, I've had some negative reactions to that, because I've been honest, whereas they might take a video from another person who's being paid and not saying about it, they might take that as more genuine than mine, even though that I'm actually being more genuine because I'm telling you the truth of the whole situation, but you will never know if they're being paid or not. So that's something. So I'm not looking to make Patreon, you know, the future. It's just, it's going to help me grow the channel to the point that it sustains itself. This is what I'm saying, that the Metalworks and YouTube on its own is just a fighting scenario. Making videos better that gets more people in, that means there's more people willing to support it, which means there's more views and more revenue gained through that. I sell more merch from the bits that I do sell, means I earn more, means I can do better things, and it's a feeding cycle that can look after me in the future. If you don't have that feeding cycle, it's going to end. It's basically called passive incomes. It's when you do a thing, but because you're doing that thing, other things you get paid by it, opposed to a job which is direct income, which is kind of like you do the job and you get the money for that. It's, as I say, it's a passive thing, and that's how all YouTube channels work, you know, Patreon, merch, and all that sort of stuff. We'll say for the metalworks, if I didn't mention this, I'm still going to make keychains. The other thing is it gives me the ability to not worry about needing to make money out of the things I make in the metalworks. I can still make things, but make them more about things I want to make that I don't need to worry about selling. I can take more time on it, and I can make those more unique, interesting things, opposed to making clocks. Because, you know, people say to me, oh, we'd love you to do more metalworks videos, but it's like, I'm just making clocks. It's going to look kind of the same every time, and you're not going to enjoy that, I don't think. There's some very popular channels at the moment about art restoration, and I'm watching them, I think they're great, but you start to realise the techniques used are very much the same throughout, and after a while you're just listening to the same stuff being repeated all the time, and I don't think it's got a future. It needs to be more dynamic. So I wanted to make this video to explain why I've made the changes I've made so far and why I'm going to be doing what I'm doing this year, but also to ask if you enjoy my content and you think that it's worth $1 a month. I know I say $1 a month, I have to say $1 because it is $1 because it's an American website, but you're charged £1. Well, sorry, about £1 because it's $1 it's converted, and then there's a small amount of tax. It works out, I think, about 99p a month. I worked out if I produce 3 videos a week, which is about the average I do, that's about 165 videos a year, which works out about 9p per video from the people who support me. If people wouldn't mind joining Patreon, if you're able to, I would massively appreciate it. I'm also going to launch the join button soon, but the problem with the join button is I can't really offer you as many benefits as Patreon. Patreon's a great way of doing it. You can message me, you get videos 3 days early, you get exclusive content and stuff like that. With the YouTube the pay button, the join button, all you're really going to get is early access to videos. And as most people don't even use the early access to videos, it's not a great incentive. So although I'm going to launch it because it's there and it gives an option to the people who don't like Patreon, if you could just use the Patreon, it would be 10 times easier because it's in one place and it's together. And also you pay a small amount to Patreon, but the same thing happens with YouTube. They're going to take their cut as well. And frankly, YouTube already take their cut from my revenue, which is about 40% anyway. I'd rather not give more to YouTube because they're not doing much for us, as you know. Subscriber feeds don't work. Videos getting seen by people doesn't work, and what's on the trending isn't real stuff necessarily, it's just big channels and yada yada yada. People joining my Patreon, people watching the videos and liking them, I think that's going to come more naturally as I make the content. You know, I can ask people to support me, but they may not choose to do it until I start producing the content. They're like, okay, this I'm willing to give you $1 a month for, which is going to mean I'm going to have to work ahead of myself and hope that people join to cover the extra costs of not doing the metalworks and putting all this time into doing the videos. So as I say, watching the videos is really going to help. Just remembering to hit that like button would be I'd really appreciate it. It makes a big difference. I've noticed on videos that have got a lot of likes, they've also got a lot of views. And I know you might think, well, maybe they get more likes because they get more views because it's a better video. Doesn't always work out that way. It really doesn't. So if you can remember to like a video and help me with the algorithm, help me be known, you know, even sharing videos, that would really help my channel if you're not able to do Patreon or something like that. The reality is, I know I'm talking to maybe a lot of people and only maybe 10% will actually make any difference to, well, they're probably not going to get this far through this video, and them actually doing something is a very small minority that actually make that step. So if you choose to do that, if you choose this to be your moment of like, I would support, because people on Patreon who've joined have said, I've been loving your videos for years, I've just basically not had the time to get around to making a Patreon account just to set it up. It takes a few minutes. If you want to do that, please do. But otherwise, support me all the other ways that people do, you know, through merch, through all the way. So yes, so between Patreon, the future join button, although I don't really want to use it, YouTube earnings themselves, any sponsorships I can get, and the merch sales, hopefully it will work out. I guess we'll probably make a video in 6 months' time and see how things are going. That'll be the end of the summer and I'll know what it's been like. I hope I can do it. I know a lot of people would like to see me fail, and it would make a lot of people very happy because there's a lot of people who have been following me years who comment on videos every single time. And I've looked at, there was a couple of people I found recently, and they've been commenting for 6 years, and every comment is negative. And it's like, you watch my videos, you actually do watch them, you've been watching them much longer than a lot of people, but you choose to try and bring me down in every video. And that's why I had to kind of ignore comments to a point. That's why I really like Patreon, because it's more normal. You don't get these random people coming that don't know anything about you and just they're having a bad day and decide that their way of getting around that bad day is to take it out on me and try and make my day bad. But that's not going to really work because I've been doing this for 10 years now, and it was kind of harder in the first days on a Chinese 125 when I was 22, 24, and people are like, oh, you'll never amount to anything. I still get comments on videos saying, oh, you should need to keep away from bikes, you'll never be able to ride a larger bike. And I'm like, might want to check the channel, mate. Things have changed a little. And the last thing is that I want to try and do a meet this year. I'm sorry I haven't done one up until now. I've explained why. There is more to it. There is the whole mental health side of everything that I haven't talked about because I don't feel like I need to. I don't think it's going to help anything. But just know, if you want a positive message, is that you can struggle really, really, really badly and still get what you need to get done. And 2019, as both me and Reno know, was that. And I want to make 2020 a better year for both of us. So I also, as I say, want to do a meet this year. I have a backup location, which is great for refreshments and size, but not ideal on location. And I have another one which is a little limited on size, that we can squeeze people in, but there is no food or refreshments. So I don't know where to go with that. But my intention is to do a meet this year. My intention is also to be at places more this year that you'll know about. I mean, one of the things with the Triumph place that I've been talking about, looks like I might be going, might be at their event days for a couple of hours, just to be there as a face and to see people and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it'd be good if you could. There's an opportunity there for you to come meet me. So there we go. I know this video is overly long. I wanted it to be 10 minutes long. I realised when I wrote this lot out, the whole page, that I was never ever going to get it done in 10 minutes, which is crap because it means that most people won't watch this. But there you go. That's the plan for 2020. Please support me if you wish to. Don't feel any pressure if you can't afford to. Just remember to smack that like button every time you can. And share videos. There's many ways of helping my channel grow. And I know I'm setting myself up to fail here, but my plan was always to hit 100k before I hit 10 years on YouTube. If I go by that original date, I have till September to do that. I'm going to do a lot of videos. I'm going to do some cool stuff. It's definitely possible, but it's only possible when the audience help support it by liking and sharing and doing those sorts of things. And then, as I say, if you're able to support it monetarily somehow, even if that's buying a couple of stickers. Remember, by the way, like if Patreon, the entire cost of Patreon is about £15 a year. If you bought, a hoodie and a t-shirt, I don't think I make 15 quid out of a hoodie. No, I definitely don't make 15 quid out of a hoodie and a t-shirt. But you know what I'm saying? There are other ways of supporting this channel which would be equal to that if you choose to do that. I have another line of merch coming out soon. It would have been out sooner, but the guys that I do my merch with, my t-shirts and stuff, is a two-man company. They're bikers. I love doing it with small companies, not giant companies. You get better quality because of it. But unfortunately, there's been, I'm just going to say, a family emergency, and I've had to say to him at the point that we were very close to launching the new merch line, you just go and do all that. Come back to me whenever you can, even if that's weeks. So I can't even tell you when I'm going to get that sorted. But no, I'm going to do that. I also want to come up with some new t-shirt designs this year because I need to come up with a new channel logo. I need to use new channel art. It's all this stuff I need to do at the same time of doing videos. So please accept there will be a slow progression as things go. And that's that. I'm ending this video now. Thank you for watching. Thank you. I know Rena didn't have a lot to add to this, but trust me, it's a lot easier with her here. So, I'm also bright red, I've realised, because I've been talking a lot and we had to close the window to stop the sound of all the cars, so now I look like a beetroot.
Yeah, it doesn't look that red to me.
I do on the cameras. Right, bye!
Bye!
If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.